What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living in West Africa. I'm in Sierra Leone right now, and if you want to know what this last week has been like for me here in Sierra Leone, then this is the video for you. All right. So we are live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. My connection looks like it's a little bit weak. So let me know if you guys can hear me. On Instagram, let me know if you can hear me. On YouTube, let me know if you guys can hear me. I need to quickly send everybody the link to the live so you guys can join me on YouTube if you want. Let's see. Somebody's already asking to go live. Let's see who that is. First, let me pin this comment. All right, somebody's asking to go live. Let's see who that is. Okay, so you guys can hear me? Okay, cool. Terrible to sort terrible you. Is that what it? That's an interesting name. Rose Gordon said you can hear me. Cool. All right. So everybody's saying they can hear me on Instagram. All right, on YouTube. Okay, Anley wants to go live. So Anley, we can definitely go live, but give me a second. Let me just get this process started and we can get people on. On YouTube, let me know if you guys can hear me. I see there's a few people on. Let me know if you can hear me. My connection, like I said, is not the greatest. So let me know if you guys can hear me on YouTube right now. And if you guys can, I will go ahead and get started. Well, in the meantime, I'm still waiting for the YouTube folks to tell me they can hear me, but it looks like you guys can hear me on Instagram. So cool. All right. So Flower Child on YouTube says you can hear me. Great. Cool. So today's topic is, it's going to be what this last couple weeks has been like for me here in Sierra Leone. So let's first get some housekeeping out of the way. It looks like there's some new people to the stream. So let me just reintroduce myself to those of you who don't know me. My name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American. I live in Ghana. Right now I'm in Sierra Leone. I came in the middle of December for all the December activities. The plan was to shoot everything that's going on because everybody's already shooting what's going on in Ghana. So I wanted to make sure that people were aware of all the different events and things going on here in Sierra Leone. I actually tested positive for COVID. If you guys were on my live last week, I had not gotten my COVID PCR test yet, my test results yet. I had gotten a rapid test result and I had tested negative with the rapid test results, but that is 60-something% accurate. I did find out that I was COVID positive. So anyway, so that's a little bit about myself. I also do videos usually 3 times a week over the last couple of weeks because of the circumstances of my health and everything going on with moving around and everything. I've only done 1 video per week last week and this week. Last week and the week before. But moving forward, the plan is to do 3 videos a week. This week, we'll probably just have 2 videos, this live, and then another video, which basically gives you like a full-on everything that went on over the last 3 weeks. I got it all in 1 video. It's my vlog from 3 weeks. So week 50, 51, and 52 of 2021. I'm just going to give you the full breakdown of what it was like here in Sierra Leone. So usually I go live every Monday night, 9 p.m. GMT, and I put out other videos throughout the week, usually 1 video that just tells you what my last week has been like, and then another video when I go on a specific adventure or interview someone. So this is my first live of 2022. Today is Monday, January 3rd. And yeah, I'm going to give you guys the update on what it's been like so far this year. So any questions, feel free to ask along the way. Always open to answering questions. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to share this, like, comment, subscribe, all of the above. Make sure that people are aware of this stream. They know what it's like living on the continent, and what it's like going back and forth between Sierra Leone and Ghana. All right, cool. So I'm trying to see if I recognize Ann Lee 8449. She wants to go live. So I'm going to go live in a second with her. But let me just let me know. Okay, so a couple things. So Anne Marie Harding says, hello from the UK. I can hear you. Thank you for letting me know. And my cousin Jaya is going to be here on Wednesday. So Jaya, sorry for your loss. I heard. I got all that information just recently. But let's definitely catch up when you get to town, like we did in May. We said we have to do it soon. I wish it was going to be under better circumstances, but when you come here, I'll make sure to, now that I'm out of COVID protocols and I am negative, I can make sure that we can show you a good time. All my friends are here. They're all out of COVID protocols, so we can actually hang out a little bit. So let me know when you get to town. Just hit me up on WhatsApp. So that's my cousin Jaya. He's coming to Sierra Leone. All right, cool. So the last 3 weeks. So as you guys know, last Monday, I got on the live, and I had been tested negative with a rapid test. So I got on live and I told everybody, and I was coughing all the way through the live. I was feeling under the weather, wasn't feeling good, but because I had tested negative, I thought I was fine. It so happens that I actually ended up testing positive. So what happened? So you get your rapid results within 30 minutes, right? 15 minutes actually. But the PCR test takes 48 hours here. So the PCR test came back 48 hours later, but I did not get notified until the following day. And so I found out that I was positive actually on Wednesday, even though it was supposed to be Tuesday, where I was supposed to find out. And it's only because I have a friend who works at that office. She's actually in the States right now, but she's been checking the list. She saw my name on the list, so she called me and let me know that I tested positive. So it sucks because that meant that I had to go on quarantine from that moment. And so that was last Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, that I've been quarantining, and we are now on Monday of the following week. So not fun. All right, so just a couple messages coming up. Jai saying we definitely got to catch up after my PCR test is negative. Yeah, so I think I get my final PCR test tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure I'm negative. All symptoms are gone, and once the symptoms are gone, you're usually negative. So if you would have heard me last week, you would have known it was crazy. My sister Zine, who's in the country, saying their Wi-Fi is spotty, which tends to be the case a lot of times. Okay. So Lucy says, how was the COVID test at Lunge Airport, if I don't mind? So the way it works at Lunge is, so if you've ever gone to Lunge Airport, and those of you who are not familiar, Lunge is the airport in Freetown. It's on a peninsula. So when you land on the peninsula and you go through the process, right? You go through the line, you go through customs, they ask you a few questions, do your biometrics, fingerprints, blah, blah, blah. You go out and get your suitcase, and then they inspect your bags, or at least check to see if your tags and your bags match. Then you go out to get tested. And so what the testing process is that they have a tent, some tents outside. It used to be inside, but the tents are outside now. And what they do is they test you there. So they do they do a rapid test and they do a PCR test because they want to give you your results before you exit the airport. And then with the PCR test, 48 hours later or so, they will reach out to you to let you know your PCR status. And so that's really what the process looks like. It does take a while, I will tell you this, and this kind of led to some of the challenges we've had from the beginning. My sister and her boyfriend came in they were supposed to come in last Tuesday. They were delayed. Sorry, they were supposed to come in last Wednesday. They were delayed a day because their flight coming out of Newark landed late. But if you're flying through Brussels Airlines, this is what happens. You get to Brussels. Brussels then stops in Monrovia. It used to just go directly to Freetown, or if it stopped in Monrovia, it was like a short stop and then to Freetown. But now it stops in Monrovia, which is the capital of Liberia. and you're there for like an hour. So they were originally supposed to land at 8:40 p.m. to Sierra Leone, but they actually landed at 9:40 p.m. They go through the whole process, getting their bags, all of that stuff, which takes about an hour and a half. So now we're right around 11 p.m. Then what they did, and this is what they've been doing at Lunge, is they're waiting for the next flight that comes in. There's a later flight that comes in, apparently, I think from Senegal. And so you wait for an extra hour before you even get on a boat to come across. So now we're an 11 o'clock hour. It's like 12 o'clock by the time that group comes in and gets across, and then you all get on the Seabird or Sea Coach, and then that takes an hour because it's that late at night to get across the other side. So by that point, it's like 1 a.m. And then by the time you get to the other side, you retrieve your bags, you get in a vehicle, and you drive to your location. It's after 2. So that actually happened 2 nights in a row. It happened last Friday and last Saturday in terms of like getting in at like 2 a.m. in the morning. So that was not ideal, but that's how it's been happening because of all the things going on because of the pandemic. So just to warn you, right now, traveling to Sierra Leone is not ideal. There are already challenges, of course, when you have to, take a ferry or take a boat across from the peninsula to the mainland, which is fine in any normal circumstances. But right now, because of everything that's going on with the pandemic, it does take a little longer than usual. So be patient. And also be prepared. Make sure you come with extra food so that you can eat while you're sitting down and waiting. You probably want to buy a local SIM card when you land because you want to make sure that you have, you have Wi-Fi when you get here, and you have a phone that you can call whoever it is that's coming to pick you up so that they know. If you don't get a local SIM card, at least put an international plan on your phone. And so that'll allow you to communicate with whoever it is that's coming to pick you up so that they're not wondering what's taking so long and why you haven't crossed. Okay, cool. So on that note, somebody does want to go live. I'm just going to do it. Let's see, Anna Lee. Let's see if we can get Anna Lee live. Are you still there? Do you still want to go live? I'm going to set you live now. Let's try it again. Oh, it looks like she decided that she doesn't want to go live anymore. Let me see. Okay. So R Sash J or Sash J R wants to go live. So let's see. Let's go live. What do you got to say? So it's an experiment. We're going live just because. I haven't done it in a little while. We're going live with people. So we're going live on Instagram, guys. So you won't be able to see them on YouTube if they're on Instagram, but on Instagram, you'll be able to see them. So what's up? What's up? What's up? Can you hear me? We're live. We are live. Can you hear me? Oh, it looks like the connection is not too great. Oh, it looks like they disconnected. The connection wasn't working. So if anybody wants to go live, let me know. If you want to go live on YouTube, we can definitely go live on YouTube. If you want to go live on Instagram, we can do that too. Whatever you want to talk about. Today, we could just do it. Ask me anything. I can just walk you through what the last week has been like, or the last couple of weeks. So I told you already what the experience was like for my sister, her boyfriend, and my mom coming in, and the length of time it took for them to get here. That was challenging. And then the place that we originally planned to stay, there were a few challenges with the accommodations, we'll put it that way. Unexpected challenges with the accommodations. So we opted to move out of there. So we kind of went to separate locations. My sister and her boyfriend went to a hotel by the beach, and me and my mom are here at this place that we're staying in right now, which I probably shouldn't say. So a place that we're staying in right now that I've stayed in previously. So I was told I was negative, and I ended up giving COVID to my family. And then a friend of mine, she also gave COVID to her entire family. So we were just meeting about that. And what we realized is we think we know what event it happened at. We went to a place called Decode, or Decode, whatever. It's a new bar or a new club on Lumley Beach Road, and we had a table in the middle, but it was kind of packed in there, and people were sitting around on our table. It was packed, and there was a lot of people in there. So we think that might have been what led to us all contracting COVID, and then they didn't get symptoms till later. Neither did I. They tested positive. So then I got a phone call. I went to test. Like I said, my rapid test was negative, but my PCR test came back later positive, and I had already been around some people. And as you guys know, last Monday I still thought I was negative, and I wasn't. So our Sasja is asking how long quarantine. So technically the quarantine's for 5 days for the new variant. However, it really is until you test negative, right? So I tested negative still after 5 days. It's now been 6 or 7 days, and now I'm testing. So I tested positive after 5 days, so I was still positive. Now it's been about 6 days, and I'm testing negative. So it all depends on when your symptoms go away. And so you are most contagious when you have symptoms, from what I understand. And so if you are having symptoms, if you're coughing, you have a runny nose, whatever, then that is going to be, you're still contagious. You still have it. When you get tested, you will have it in your system. So Lucy was asking, how much do you pay at Lunga Airport? Jai is given the update. It is $80 or 800,000 Leone. That's correct, around that price. So is this Wana is saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year, everyone. And no NRTV is saying, hey, Joe, hey, chat. Hey to you too. What's up? Okay. So Susie CWS asks, are there multiple SIM providers at the airport? If so, which would you recommend? So at the airport, I really only saw, actually, there was QCell and Orange Telecom at the airport. From my experience, Orange is a little bit better in terms of phone service. Apparently, they also have better MiFis, and you can get a MiFi from Orange there at the airport too. So I use a QCell MiFi. I've already been using it, so I just topped it up with some data just so I could use it for a couple of days. And then with Orange, I went back and got a new Orange SIM card. So Zion, my sister, had some good questions. Can you give some tips on negotiating prices here? What can you for sure negotiate on what prices are usually set? It's a great question. So almost everything is negotiable. Let me leave that up on screen. So first of all, almost everything is negotiable. So the place I'm staying, when you're purchasing something, almost everything is negotiable, especially if you are like me and have an American accent. You almost always are going to get the higher price. If you've ever gone on a cruise, or you've gone to another country, right, you know that they give you a different price because you have the American or the British accent, right? And so the same applies here. And so number one, when you negotiate in Creole. That's number one. Number two, you can actually negotiate aggressively, and you can use aggressive tone here too. It's just how we are as a culture. We can be very aggressive, and it's fine. But you negotiate in Creole, you negotiate aggressively. That's totally fine. That's normally part of the culture. And depending on who you're talking to, right, you can see how it is with them. And then the other thing is always, especially like a big market and places like that, where you're coming in as a tourist, try to end at half the price. That's the same advice I give about Ghana. It's the same thing here, is you want to end at half the price that they're offering, right? Because they're almost always doing a crazy markup on whatever it is, because you have the American accent or you have the foreign accent. So prices are not usually set. Negotiate in Creole, and you can be aggressive in your negotiation. And don't be afraid to walk away if you think you're paying too much, but just keep in mind the conversion rate, right? So, $80 is 800,000 leones, right? So 80,000 leones is $8, right? So keep that in mind. Is once you know what the conversion rate is, it kind of helps you understand the price of things. Like, if somebody's trying to sell you a T-shirt, or yeah, like I saw like a soccer T-shirt. They were trying to sell it to me for what was it, like 300,000 leons, right? And I know that a T-shirt like that is probably about $15, so it should have been 150,000 leons, right? So I negotiated down to right around that price or less, because I know what it should basically cost in the marketplace, right? So just kind of have an understanding of that. Another good way to get around negotiating, if you're not that good yet, if your Creole's not that good, if you're not ready to start negotiating, is to bring a local with you to negotiate on your behalf. Anybody who's here locally knows how to negotiate because it's a part of everyday life. So that applies here in Sierra Leone. That also applies in Ghana as well. I've had much more success in Ghana having someone else negotiate on my behalf, especially if it's a male vendor and you have a woman with you. That always helps. Good question, Zion. Nice. I like it. What else we got? Any other questions? Let's see. And does anybody else want to go live with me? I'm down to go live today with somebody who wants to go live. More than happy to do it. I'm just going through and seeing if there's any other questions in the chat. Oh, Cali Calv joined. Shout out to Cali Calv. He's always joining the live. YMCMB 1955. Shout out to you. You haven't been on in a while. Good to see you. Who else we got? Okay, so Westerly Wave says, is vaccination mandatory there? And what's the prevailing view on this? Thanks, from the UK. So technically, vaccination is not mandatory in Sierra Leone. It's not mandatory to have a vaccine. However, if you are not vaxxed, you do have to do 48-hour quarantine until your PCR test results come back. So from what I understand, they give you a list of different hotels that you can potentially stay at, and you have to choose from that list, and its cost is out of pocket. And I also understand that they take your passport once you get to the hotel, and you don't get it back until the end of that mandatory 48-hour quarantine, or at least until your test results come back, which is usually 48 hours. So that is where it is in Sierra Leone at the moment. Don't know if that's going to change. All of this stuff is fluid. I know in Ghana, it is mandatory to be vaxxed before going to Ghana. And Liberia, it's mandatory to be vaxxed there as well. I did hear that. The prevailing view, to be honest, it's all across the spectrum like it is everywhere else. I know most people I know are fully vaccinated. So I think, especially on the continent, most people I know just are, just because it was a requirement for a lot of different things. Like, you just can't do certain things without it. So most people I know on the continent are fully vaxxed, and most people I know in the U.S. are fully vaxxed as well. It's just because it's limiting to not have it. So most people who even were vaccine hesitant have just gone ahead and done the vaccine. All good questions. Let me see if there's any other questions I missed. Okay, so R. Sashja is asking if I'm in Sierra Leone. I am, and I am here for at least another week or so. I haven't bought my return ticket as of yet. But yeah, so I'm still in the US. Oh, Sasha Renee, that's your name. Okay, Sasha, what's up, Sasha? Sorry, I'm just now going back through and looking at this. Happy New Year to you too. I did make it to Sierra Leone, Sasha. I'm just reading all your messages super late now. But thank you guys for joining. Any other questions? This is time. Okay, so here we go. So Ocean 921 says, do you think that a female needs a local man to help negotiate? I noticed that when I was in Ghana, that some men do not listen to women. Yeah, I mean, culturally, that can be the case. Yeah, I mean, it helps for sure. But if you're a woman negotiating with a man, I have seen, and this happened at Macola Market actually, women get free items and get things. So I think it all depends on who it is you're negotiating with. Sometimes it does help to have someone there with you, but I think it all depends on, how much, if you're a local, right? So she was a local, so she knew how to do, she's negotiating in Tree, she's negotiating in English, going back and forth, joking, whatever, using, her powers and she was able to help us get good discounts and things like that. So I think it all depends on who you're negotiating with and where you're from, you know. So I wouldn't say that everyone is traditional in that sense, that they won't listen to women, because I've seen people have success. I think it all depends on your approach, and you know, if you have that local feel to you. If you feel like a foreigner, they're gonna hit you with those foreign prices. It's just kind of how it is. So Noah NRTV is asking, do you have any info about Akon's concert that's happening later this year in South Africa that he's selling NFT tickets for? I went to an NFT online conference and they were discussing it. I don't have any information on that, but I do know a bit about NFTs, very high level. And okay, so let me first get her pronunciation right, and then I'll go back to the question. So it's No Narrative. Okay. And she's usually here as MJ. So what's up, MJ / No Narrative? I like that. I said no NRTV, but No Narrative. I like it. These names with no vowels all get me. Okay, so No Narrative. I won't mess that up again. So No Narrative is asking about Akon's concert. So I don't know about it. But the fact that he's selling an NFT for tickets is interesting, only because it's a physical concert. So unless he's attaching anything else to it, I don't know if it makes sense, because it doesn't have really any resale value because it's a one-time event. I understand doing an NFT. Okay, so just real quickly for those who are not familiar, and I am not a financial expert, but I can just speak to it from a very high level. An NFT is basically an asset that you can purchase, and the person who sells it always owns a piece of it. And from my understanding, for every resale of that product, the person who initially started it also gets paid, but you can also get paid for reselling it, and you own shares in it, and it's very convoluted and complicated. But one thing I do know is that if it's a physical good, it can be something that can really pick up steam and make a lot of money. So for instance, Tory Lanez sold his album as an NFT, and it did really well because it gives you the opportunity to get everybody involved in the profit sharing. Gary Vaynerchuk sold a book as an NFT. But like, it usually works for something physical that can be resold and reused. For a concert, I don't really understand the idea of doing an NFT as a concert, because it's a one-time thing that people further down the line can't purchase and go to. So I don't know if he's offering anything also in addition to it, but I have to look into it and get back to you guys. But as far as I understand, I don't know much about it, but I don't think, unless there was some other thing that he's offering as part of the concert tickets, like if they're gold or something comes along with those tickets, to me, it doesn't necessarily make sense to buy an NFT for a physical concert, because I don't know if that has any resale value like a book or an album might have, right? You guys might know this, but Jay-Z and Damon Dash were in a legal dispute because Dame Dash was trying to sell his 33% of the Reasonable Doubt as an NFT. So, you know, they actually, I don't think he was able to do it. But yeah, so that's kind of the thing that you use, is something physical. So No Narrative is saying, I think they're banging on the nostalgia component of the ticket when assessing its value. It's like going to Janet Jackson concert and still having a concert t-shirt. And they are offering other things. Okay, if they're offering other things, okay, maybe it's some nostalgia around Akon doing a concert in South Africa. I don't know the value of that. I love Akon and what he's doing business-wise. I love what he's done in the music industry and how he's converted that to an incredible business empire. I have to know more to understand the idea of buying these tickets. I think Janet Jackson and Akon are two different people, right? Like Janet Jackson, if you were on the Control tour or something like that, and you have a t-shirt from that, I could see the nostalgia in that, because it was like an event. Or like, let's say it was Prince Purple Rain tour, right? I don't know what the value of a concert in South Africa might be, but again, I have to see more. I don't want to just act like I don't want to just speak on it. I've already done that without too much information. But he's going to have a bunch of stars there, it looks like, and he's inviting a bunch of people, so it's not just him. Okay. So maybe it's going to be one of those things that it's like a huge, crazy event. Maybe they'll have Burna Boy, and, you know, maybe they'll have like you know, DeVito and whoever else there, and maybe it makes it like a huge event, something that you can't miss. And if you got tickets from it, it's like one of those things that, like, if you missed out, you didn't get a chance to see it. You know, maybe you buy the NFT to get some other maybe version of viewing it later or something else like that. We'll have to see. I'll check it. I'll check out the site and look into that and let you know what I think. All right, cool. So David's asking what he missed. What's up, David? Thanks for joining. I just told my story about what happened. I also spoke about negotiating, and No Narrative was asking about an NFT. There were some questions about the testing process and if there are any vaccine mandates. But I answered all those questions. But yeah, you can definitely watch the replay if you want to hear the answers to all of those. But that's really what you missed. Nothing much. All right. Any other questions from anybody on the live? Let me go back to Instagram and see if I'm missing anything. Okay, so let's try to go live again. All right, we're gonna try to go live. All right, can you hear me now? What's up? What's up?
Hi, I'm one of your favorite followers. I'm Sasha Renee. I just love your Instagram. It's so positive. It's just you have always this ray of light when you go on live.
Thank you.
Have light around them, and I'm just going to tell you, I'm from the States.
Okay.
The surrounding, well, you're from the States, the surrounding Los Angeles area.
Okay.
We're in the area, Lancaster, Palmdale area. But I want to know, is it if I decide, because I was trying to go to Ghana with my cousin maybe next summer.
Okay.
What's going on, all of this, and I shouldn't say this out loud, but what's going on with this man-made virus? I'm so done. I'm just tired. I'm tired.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did the shots. I did everything I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
Now with me trying to travel, and my trainer, he was supposed to go to mostly in Senegal, be going April when everything shut down of 2020.
Okay.
So is it hard for those of us who are trying to renew their passports to get to visit for 3 weeks, or do I have to quarantine for 2 weeks before visiting there for 3 weeks?
Got it. Okay. All great questions. So first of all, thank you for all the compliments, of course, and thank you for following. I really appreciate it. Yes. So, and I was in Los Angeles until January to February of 2020. And then I moved back to New York, and then I moved to the continent. So I could talk to you all about LA. That's a whole nother topic. But so in terms of coming to Ghana, so from what I understand, as long as you are vaxxed and you have a negative PCR test or a negative test, you can enter the country, no issue. There doesn't seem to be any quarantine requirements as of this moment, but things are fluid, because 2 weeks ago I said that there was no vax requirement, and then like the next day they had a vax requirement. So it's all fluid, but as of right now, that is the case. Now, in terms of what the cases are like there in Ghana, I will tell you that there is a caseload. It is growing because people are very, locals don't believe that it exists, right? So, you know, you do have it moving around and it's happening. We had an outbreak at the office that I work in because people are very like dismissive. People can be very dismissive, right? So, and you know, in terms of wearing masks and all that kind of stuff, you know, most of the places that you go to require you to wear a mask, but once people are inside, masks them off. It's just kind of how it is. So,
okay.
But I will say, I did not get it the whole year I was in Ghana, and I was going to the office almost 4 to 5 days a week for the last 6 or 7 months. And so, but I'm very big on washing and I wash my hands for real. I was wearing my mask. I was wearing an N95 mask too. So I wasn't just wearing any mask. I was wearing a mask that also protects myself. Wash my hands like crazy. Don't touch door handles. I never did. And so I was really rigorous about not touching door handles. That means the fridge. That means the door to enter the kitchen. That means the bathroom door. I mean, like everything. Anytime I walked into the room, I didn't touch it. Yeah, gloves too. So I think you can be fine being there, especially because everybody who enters right now has to have the vax. Now, it doesn't mean it can't spread, because if you have it, you can still pass it on, as everyone is well aware. But I will say that it is not like out of control, and it does seem that the caseload it's not affecting everyone. I have some friends who right now seem to be fine. They went out and they partied. I saw all their Instagram. I watched all their social media, and it looked like they were having a great time. So that's my understanding so far. And then the last thing I want to address is the Instagram page. I really appreciate that. I want to make sure that I'm offering value to the community. So whether that's the diasporans or Africans on the continent, whether it's news or things that are happening in the community, things that are funny, things that are serious. But my goal has always been to try to share information with everyone, our history and what's happening in present day. And so I really appreciate you following along and appreciating the content. It's always good to hear. It keeps me going.
You're welcome. You're welcome. The other question I have, do you
Sure.
DM? Because I have a lot more questions for you. I don't want to take everybody's time.
Sure.
I want to DM you with some information for friends that want to travel to places, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it live. So
okay.
Can I DM you or email you? What's the best? What is best for you?
So both work. I'm slow at getting back to both just to manage expectations. So, my email is contact@authenticafrican.com. So that's one way to get in touch with me. Sorry?
It's on your profile.
Yeah, it's on the profile. I owe some responses, and also if you DM me, you can DM me as well. I owe some other people some responses, but just follow up with me. I try to check it once a week, but because it's last week, the condition I was under, I haven't checked it in like 2 weeks. So, but either one, I will respond as soon as I can.
Okay, thank you. Bless you so much, and Happy New Year. And I just want everything to just dissipate worldwide with this. I know God is in control, but it's turning into something that's it's horrible. But I'm going to stay on a positive note, and I'll hopefully be able to travel this summer. I'm ready to go. Hello from the States.
Fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to you making it. I want to make sure more people come. So I hope you do come to Ghana. All right, you too. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, bye. Awesome. So that was Sasha. Shout out to Sasha. Thanks for joining. All right. So if anybody else wants to join live, let me know. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on YouTube as well. So what do we have? So Jai is asking, did the missing luggage from last week eventually get found? If so, what was the process to retrieve them in Freetown? Man, yeah, it was found eventually. So here's what happened. So it never even got on a flight from Newark to Brussels, is what I found out later. So my sister did get her suitcase back. It was, I think, 5 days later. It was the day after Christmas. I think it arrived on Christmas, but I think the day after Christmas or the day after that, I can't even remember now. All my days are blurring together. It did eventually come back. What was the process? So the process was as follows. She had to fill out some documentation at the airport because it came off the conveyor belt, right? At the, whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it, but when you go to pick up your bags, it never came off of there. So she went to the office, filled out some documentation. And then there was some communication back and forth between the airline and my sister, just letting her know when they expected it to come, things like that. They couldn't find it at first, but I think eventually they found it. And what we found out later, they have some kind of locator system internally on their end. This is Brussels, which is operated by United. Brussels Airlines, United Airlines are all part of Star Alliance. They have some kind of system, and they tracked it. Basically, the bag never left Newark. It was in Newark, and so it had to get shipped on a different flight and make its way to Sierra Leone eventually. So, yeah, it was a nightmare, but it finally came through. So Fode says, what's up, Authentic African? What's up, Fode? Oh, so that's something I also want to address as well, because this is a conversation, this ongoing joke in my office with one of my coworkers who was like, you're not authentic African, I'm American, he always tries to say. I was born in the United States, for those of you who don't know, and I am Sierra Leonean American. I now have a Sierra Leonean citizenship. Both my parents were born and raised at least until their 20s and then moved to the States. So that's like my background. But like, it's funny because it's like a joke at my office because the channel is called Authentic African. but the channel is not called Authentic African about me. It really started with an e-commerce store, and the idea was to sell authentic African goods to people in America, because I was always looking for these things and I had friends that were looking for them. And so I saw a business in that, and I started sourcing products made on the continent and selling them to those living in the diaspora. So that's really where the name Authentic African came from. And then I started the Instagram page eventually to promote it. But then once I started the page, I realized that there was so much information out there about African history across the entire continent and what's happening in the diaspora news that was important to many of us, and stuff that I was finding out and I was learning. And I wanted to share that with everyone. And so the Instagram page took on a life of its own and became about that. And then when I moved to Ghana, one of my good friends who had been building a YouTube channel convinced me that I should start a YouTube channel and to start telling my story and building my brand as I'm transitioning into a new career here on the continent. And so I just named the channel Authentic African because I already had the brand Authentic African from Instagram, and I had the e-commerce store. And to make sense of it, it's my authentic African experience. But I actually don't call myself Authentic African. So don't know if anybody knew that story, but I thought I would share that because I think a lot of people call me Authentic African, and that's not what I call myself. I'm either Joannis or Joe, or Bemba, to those of you who are family who know me. But yeah, so that is the story of the Authentic African brand. So it's really just a branding thing. It's not actually me, which means that also other people can potentially show up on this channel, right? So right now it's my experience moving to the continent. It won't always be just about me. There will be other people's stories that we tell, other people who will be hosting and running different videos on the channel. There's going to be definitely a lot of different conversations. We're talking about podcasts. There's so many different things that I want to do with the overall Authentic African brand. And so I am not Authentic African. I'm just one part of it. There are many people that are part of it already, and we're planning to expand and grow. So that'll be coming over time, but definitely know that there's more to come for sure. I'm excited to share it with you guys as time goes on. Okay. So Akindele says you are authentically African. You are a direct product of Sierra Leone. Well, I appreciate that. So Fode is asking what's happening in Freetown City right now. So what's happening right now? A lot is happening. So, there's been, basically Lumley Beach Road. It's always packed. There's always stuff going on over there. My sister is staying over there, and she saw it's been crazy every night. It's crazy as always. It's just always during this time of year. There's so many different events. Unfortunately, the whole last week of 2021, I didn't get a chance to go to any of those events, but there are plenty of events going on. There are more events coming on this year. There was one last night that unfortunately I didn't get a chance to go to because I was still quarantining. But yeah, I mean, Sierra Leone is on as always in the holiday season. So there's a bunch of stuff going on as usual. Flower Child, what's up? What's up? She says, are there any support groups for diasporans locating to West Africa? So good question. As of right now, I've heard of a few, and I have to give me some. Let me follow up with that because there was someone who told me about a support group. There are different groups out there though. So you have Destination Africa, who they're doing a bunch of stuff for like children and people transitioning and helping children grow. There's also Ghana Bound. There are a couple who are also doing like helping people transition. And then there are channels like this that explain our experience and that we talk about what's been going on. So those are all good things. And then Adenta, the Adenta Show network or the Adenta network, she actually is doing a Zoom or a live, I think it's today or tomorrow, where she's going to start talking about all the different things that you can do as someone who's transitioning. I would say, let me show you right now, because Wode Maya actually put it on his live. I mean, on his stories. So let me just look it up really quickly and share with you guys what it was. Let's see, what did he say? So there is, so tomorrow, okay, so Monday the 3rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sorry, so it's already late. It was actually happening in person in Ghana. But anyway, I'll put the link to the URL here. Oh yeah, there you go. Gooba Diaspora Transition. See, I love this group of subscribers because you guys always have the information. So yeah, so there you go. Julian just told you. So that's it. So that was the event. But you can look at the website and it'll tell you everything you need there. Thanks, Julian. Let me put it up on the screen. So it's Gooba Diaspora Transition. It's a great network. And Adenta was talking all about it. She got a bunch of stuff there. So check those guys out. I think that'll be really helpful for the transition. So the young Sierra Leonean says, Happy New Year, hopefully fully recovered. It looks like I have fully recovered, but Happy New Year to you too. I've tested negative today. I'm back out in the world as of tomorrow. Well, not really, because I still have work to do, and I'm back online, and like it's an actual work week for me this week, so I won't be like doing too much. I have to get back to work. So unfortunately, the time where I had off, I was stuck in the house, not doing much, because I wasn't feeling that great, and I was doing as much work as I could. And now that I'm back out there, I got so much work to catch up on. So Fode is saying it's sad right now that that in the West, a lot of Black men and women are planning to relocate to the motherland. Maybe that's a statement about how it is in the West right now. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people aren't loving it being in the West for a number of different reasons, as I had issues with living in the West. So I totally understand people deciding to make the move for sure. All right, what do we got? So Flower Child's just appreciative of all the information. Okay, so Akindele says, I haven't been back home to Sierra Leone since I left. When I lived, I never left Freetown. I would love to get to know the other cities in the country. Any info on other parts you recommend to visit? Yeah, so, I've been to Kenema, I've been to Bo. Bowtown is an interesting place. I would say go to Bo. I haven't been to many other places besides that, but I love Bo because it's like its own little city. It has its own nightlife, has its own culture. So definitely recommend going to Bo for sure when you come to Sierra Leone. Definitely recommend going to Bo for sure. Outside of that, people talk about Kenema a lot. Yeah, so those are the two places that I know that I've been to. Outside of that, I'll let the people in the chat, any Sierra Leoneans on here who have any other cities you want to shout out outside of Freetown and Bo, definitely let everyone know. Kwame's, what's up, Kwame? I'm good. Happy New Year to you too. Recovering, but thanks for asking. All right, cool. Any other questions, or does anybody else want to go live? We went live with one person. Sasha was jumped on the live. Does anybody else want to go live? I'm feeling like I want to go live today. How long we been on? We've been on 48 minutes so far. Usually this thing goes on for about an hour and a half. So as of right now, and I'm just looking at Instagram Live, I'm looking at YouTube. Is there any questions? Any more questions for me? Anything else that anybody have that you want to ask me about? In the meantime, let me get some water. Need to hydrate. No questions? There we go. Akindele has another question. Let's see. Sakandele says, I'm also a DJ. What's the music scene like in Freetown? Okay, it's a great question. So we have our local Sierra Leonean artists. You have Emerson, you have Shadowboxer, you have many other artists. You have Natasha, and then you have other artists that are escaping me right now that are local Sierra Leonean artists that either have lived elsewhere and like to come back and perform here, or their music plays here. But then you also have the whole Afrobeats world as a whole, right? So Nigerian music, Ghanaian music, Burna Boy, Davido, all the major artists, Wizkid, all the major artists that they play them on the radio here. The music scene is, it's Afrobeat centric for sure. If you go to events, they do tend to play like early 2000s Ja Rule and stuff like that. I don't hear enough Jay-Z personally, but maybe that's just me because I'm a big Jay-Z fan, having spent a significant amount of time in Brooklyn and listened to Jay-Z through my formative years. growing up as a teenager and into young adulthood. But yeah, I mean, that's really mostly what you hear. Fode has some recommendations of other cities to go to. So Kono is another beautiful city to go to in Sierra Leone and to have fun. So Fode is saying to go to Kono. So go to Kono District. You should like that as well. Okay, great question now coming in from, is it Selwina? I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Any house update did you find on the contractor? So the house update is as follows. Phase 1 is finally complete. Phase 1 was shout out to Mr. Bounce Los Angeles for joining the live. Always good to have you on the live. Thanks for joining. So back to Selwina, I think I'm pronouncing it right. So where are we at with the house update? So I think I mentioned this last week, but I went to the contractor's house. So the person who recommended the contractor to me gave me information about where he lives. So I went to his house. He and I had a lengthy discussion about my disappointment and distrust for his ability to be able to do the rest of the work. And he told me that he needed a little bit more funds to complete some of the work. And so the funds were sent and he finished phase 1. So phase 1 is complete, meaning the very base of the foundation has been done. Now the walls and the ceiling need to go up. And this, by the way, is on the boys' quarters. The boys' quarters is where the house help lives, separate from the main house. So that's just the boys' quarters. Once that's done, myself or my mother, when she comes to town, will be somewhere where we can stay. It'll be 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a living room and a kitchen kind of area that we can stay in instead of having to pay to stay like where we're paying right now. It'll be somewhere where we can stay when we come to town. And so that is phase 1 of 3 phases is done. And so have I found another contractor? I've talked to one and I've talked to potentially another one today. And I'm also getting some advice from someone who's coming to town tomorrow on potential for another contractor, but maybe for the main house. Right now, I'm looking for someone who can just do the boys' quarters. It's not as difficult of work to do. I'm going to just get it done. And there's some people in our neighborhood where the house is, and you've seen that they've done some pretty good construction and done it pretty quickly. So I'm looking at potentially using some of them to help me finish, but have not landed on another contractor yet. I plan to do so this week. Plan to get started on work next week, and then head back to Ghana. Great question. So Julian is saying, how's the agritech business in Sierra Leone? We have land in Kenema. We're looking into, but would like to partner with some out there. So agritech businesses are not very big here in Sierra Leone. I hear more about agritech in other parts of the continent. Specifically, I've heard about it in Nigeria, Kenya, some in Ghana as well. Doesn't mean that it's non-existent, but it's definitely not a big business here yet. So agritech is still something that's up and coming. I think, it's hard to find a lot of what is the tech startups here in the continent, or in Sierra Leone in particular. But that's what we're looking to do with Launchpad Africa, which I've spoken about before. But we're looking to highlight more of these businesses and get more of them out there. But let me ask about that. I don't know. I mean, if anybody in the chat knows about any agritech businesses here in Sierra Leone in particular, let me know for sure. And then, of course, there are other ag tech businesses in other parts of the continent that I would imagine you can still translate for usage here in Sierra Leone. Should work, right? So like stuff that teaches you about like irrigation and all the other different things that I've learned through meeting some people in ag tech. I'm sure that kind of stuff can apply here. You would just have to utilize local standards to make it make sense or make it work. But yeah, I would definitely recommend looking into ag tech businesses that are broadly across the continent, and those that maybe raise the most funding or seem to have the people behind them that in the agriculture business world that seem to be behind those businesses. So that if you partner with someone or you're working with their business, that is not going to go out of business anytime soon. Okay, so let's see. Mr. Bounce Los Angeles, as always, is telling everybody to hit that thumbs up and recommend the channel to your open-minded friends and family. I appreciate it. Thank you. Shout out to you. So DB is saying, greetings, family. Greetings, DB. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining. All right. Any questions? Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about today. I had a list. What was on my list of things to talk about today? We ran a bunch of errands today. So by the time I got back, I had a bunch of work to do. So I didn't really have too much time to go over everything. Okay, yeah. So let me tell you about the video that I'm putting out this week. So the video I'm putting out this week is going to go over all the last 3 weeks here in Sierra Leone. So it's going to show you the new club code Madang, which is a big festival. They do 2 of them. They do a food festival earlier in the year, and then they did a larger one this year. In December. I also went to Chemist. So that's an event from one of these groups that actually they tend to serve alcohol at a lot of the other bigger events, but then they do their own events. They do a game night, which is also really cool. That thing was packed. That was a lot of people there. It was people fighting to get in. It was a whole thing. If any of you guys were there, you know what I'm talking about. Then there was a memorial for my grandparents. It was the 25th anniversary of their passing. And so we went to the church where my grandfather was a reverend, learned a little bit about him and his brothers and their story, which I was not too familiar with. So that was cool. And then we celebrated my mom's 75th birthday, which was also really cool. That was fun because a lot of people got a chance to get up and express their appreciation for her and what she means to them and things like that. I definitely had notes and I left my notes. So I definitely didn't say everything I wanted to say. So that's a whole nother thing. You guys will see the video. But that was good. That was a really, really good event. That was cool. And then after that, I didn't do much after that because it was quarantine time. So that's what I did. That's all what I did. Julian saying, thanks for the information. Is it Quadwo? Is saying you got in late. Happy New Year to you too. No worries. Better late than never. For saying there are a lot of land in the provinces of Sierra Leone for agribusiness. Yeah, so there's a ton of land. I just don't know how much agri-tech there is, but there's definitely a lot of agriculture for sure, for sure. Okay, Gregory saying, greetings, fan. Do we need local partner to business? Do foreigners can own land in Sierra Leone? Great question. So you have to be a Sierra Leone citizen to own land and to start a business. Actually, sorry, to own land, not to start a business. As far as I understand, you can start a business as a foreigner. It's just a little bit more difficult than if you are a local Sierra Leonean. I think a portion of your business needs to be owned by a local Sierra Leonean. So you can't outright to start your own business. One of your partners, and I don't know what percentage of their business has to be, but a percentage of the business has to be Sierra Leonean. So for me, I was able to start a business, buy land, because I first got my dual citizenship and I got my Sierra Leone passport and my Sierra Leone citizenship. So I did that first and then everything else came after. So Gregory, if you find out that your lineage traces back to Sierra Leone, like if you do African ancestry or 23andMe or any one of them, I recommend African ancestry because it tells you what tribe you're from. If you do that and you trace your lineage back, you can come here and get your citizenship, and that eliminates all the other challenges for starting a business and for owning land. And Fode was asking, have I been to the Ballin Freetown event? So I did go to Ballin. I went to one of the events. Apparently, there were 2 other events that were much more grown and sophisticated. There was an over 30 event at the end of last year, and there was another event that was Africana event yesterday. Missed the last 2 events, but I went to the pool party. Been to it now. This is my 3rd one. It was cool. I'm starting to feel like, and some of our group feels like we're starting to feel like we're the old people at the club now. So, I think when it comes to balling, maybe we'll do it again, but we paid for a cabana and we got like a table that only sat 8, even though there was 10 of us. So we spent a significant amount of money for what it was, and it did not end up being what we wanted it to be. We didn't get the space we wanted. We were sandwiched between 2 other tables, which were sandwiched between like another 15 tables. So we paid too much money for what we got. To me, it wasn't worth the amount of money we spent. So I would say, Some of the other balling events are a little bit better though. The over 30 event and the Africana event, because a couple of my friends went and they said they loved it. So those two events are a little bit more our speed, just because, you know, I'm getting up there in age and I don't really tend to party like that with the kids anymore. I'm feeling like an old man, but that's just how it is. Unless you're there with friends. I mean, it's not where you are till you're with, right? So in some cases, it might be fun. So what are the first steps to starting a business in Sierra Leone for outsiders? Mr. Bounce Los Angeles is asking. Well, first he says, salute to my mom's. Happy, hope she enjoyed her birthday. She did enjoy her birthday. She's in the other room somewhere. I'm going to try to see if I can interview her while she's here. She's here for a few more days. So we'll see if we can get an interview. We've talked about it, but anyway, she's in the other room somewhere. But yeah, she did enjoy her birthday. So what are the first two steps to starting a business in Sierra Leone for outsiders? So first things first, I think you have to find someone who is a Sierra Leonean to join you in your business. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the prerequisites for starting a business in Sierra Leone is you have to have a Sierra Leonean citizen be on your paperwork and be a part of your business, if I'm not mistaken. And then the first step is just getting it registered with the city of Freetown and with the country, with the National Revenue Authority. And so you just have to get your business registered, but you have to determine what kind of business it's going to be, like what business sector you're in, the name of your business, all that kind of stuff. But like I have a local proxy who actually went through the entire process for me. I just had to give him the money for each stage in the process, and he set it up all for me. So I do want to do a video on how to start a business in Sierra Leone. I just need to actually sit down with people who can walk you through that process because I actually paid somebody to do it on my behalf. That's how I do things here, especially at that time. Now I know more people and I can move around a little bit better. My Creole's a little bit better, so I can move around the country a little bit better. But at that time, this was, 2018 when I was still trying to figure things out. I was just like, I know somebody who knows people, and I just had him go and do it all for me. But from what I understand, you have to register with the city, to register with the country, and you have like the National Revenue Authority. Is there equivalent to the Chamber of Commerce mixer? Is that equivalent to the Chamber of Commerce mixer? I don't know if there is a version of the Chamber of Commerce in terms of like events. I haven't seen any business related events. There are some events though. And that's something my friend Ajra, she knows all these kinds of events. So there are events for business owners or for people who are looking to network. There are all those kinds of events. They do happen. But in terms of something that's happening regularly, I'm not really sure. To be honest, I'm not really sure. I'll have to get back to you on that. That's a great question. What else we got? Shout out to Zion for joining live. My sister Zion, whose bag was lost that I was telling you about, who's staying at a hotel on the beach. She just let me know that she was watching the live. Okay, yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so here's Haja saying, hi family, Sierra Leone has flexible laws for foreigners who want to start a business or lease land. Okay, there you go. Haja saying the laws are flexible. Don't know exactly what that means in terms of how to get the process started, but apparently they're flexible. So I think you just, I would go to any of the Sierra Leone government websites. They have that information on their sites. So you could just Google. I mean, I can actually let's do this exercise right now, right? While we're here, why don't we do this exercise right now? How to start a business in Sierra Leone, and let's see what comes up. So, wow. So not how to start a business in Sierra Leone because there's a million. Okay, so NRA.gov, starting a business, National Revenue Authority. So this is the Sierra Leone website. So this, I'm gonna add this to the live notes. You guys can click on that link there. If you have any questions, and of course, I have to send it to the YouTube live. Mr. Bounce Los Angeles, are you also watching on YouTube live too? I know you're the one who asked the question. I can definitely send it on. on YouTube Live. Let me see if I can get it on Instagram Live. Um, I'll put it in. I'll put it in the description or something. Because if I leave the live to click on the link that I just sent to myself, I think I'm going to kill the live. So I'll send it to myself, but I'll definitely send it to you. But great question so far. But anybody who's watching on Facebook or Instagram, Facebook or YouTube, I just sent the link out there. So if you guys want to know, that's directly from the NRA website. So you can just check out that link and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do to start a business here in Sierra Leone. Cool. All right. All great questions. Guys, we're a little over an hour and 5 minutes. I'm always doing the time checks. Any more questions, comments, concerns? Happy to answer them. This is the segment where I say ask me anything. So if you have any more questions, let me know what they might be. More than happy to answer them. I'm just looking at my phones to see if I got any messages from anybody. From anybody who's been watching, any of my friends who've been watching. No. And all of you guys can still hear me? Mr. Los Angeles is always listening to both, which I really appreciate. Okay. So here's a slightly controversial question from Fode. So when it comes to government stuff, I always am very careful how I speak to it because I know that in this part of the world, you have to be very careful how you talk about government in public forums. But let's see with this question and how I can answer this. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm back online now. All right. All right. Thank you. Okay, later. All right, guys. I said Big Brother cut it. Frozen like video frozen. Big Brother's watching. Big Brother's watching. Video frozen. DM says video frozen. Frozen like ice. Quadwo says video is gone. Big Brother cut it. Screen is gone blank. Right when I was answering that question. Let me know if you guys can hear me though. Send me notes if you guys can hear me, because it looks like I'm back on the broadcast, but I can't tell if you guys can hear me. I can see all your messages that you were sending to the chat after I got cut off. But I can't tell if you guys can still hear me. But it looks like 26 people are still on. So I appreciate you guys still staying on while the connection faded. Shoot me a thumbs up if you can hear me, so I know that I'm actually talking to people and I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, so Flower Child says you can hear me. All right. So let's try this again. Okay, Julian says I'm back. All right, cool. So you guys can hear me. Flower Child and Julian says I'm back. All right, cool. So to answer Fode's question, what do I think the government of Sierra Leone needs to focus on by improving the quality of the country for tourist attraction? Excuse me. So I think a couple things. One, I think having an airport on the mainland is one way to help improve things. Just because I think that process is just it's detrimental to people wanting to come here often, right? I mean, if you know that you have to cross over water every time, and there are people who are seasick, it just adds extra layers of difficulty for people to get here. Number one. I think number two is as a tourism board, bring on people like me to help push out information about what it is that we have here. Like when you go to Ghana, you know that you can go to Cape Coast, you know that you can go to Cocoon Rainforest, you know that you can go to all the different slave castles. There are different areas, like they've done a good job of having all these different places that you can go to get the history. You can go to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Museum. You can go to W.E.B. Du Bois Museum, right? There are all these different things that you can do. And I think we need to do a better job of offering that to our people who come back, for sure. Making sure that people know that there are many different things that they can do to get the history of this country, not only just the fun. Anne Marie says, I can't see you. I don't know if that's from before or can you guys see me or can you only hear me? Because Anne Marie Harding is saying she cannot see me. Instagram video is completely paused, has not come back, unfortunately. So we're only on, sound is on. Menelik says sound is on, but I don't know if you can see me. Okay, Flower Child says you can see me. Okay, great. So some people can see me, maybe some people cannot. Sorry about that, guys. As soon as I started answering this question, it went blank. But yeah, I think that those are things that can be done. Like for me, right, someone who has been coming to Sierra Leone more frequently since 2017, I didn't even know there was the National Museum. Now that's partly on me. I should have known that, but I wish there were more ways to find out about these things. That information should be pushed to me as someone who's coming here. Like, for instance, when you go to the airport in Ghana, there's all kinds of brochures and flyers that you see at different places that tell you all the different things that are going on, right? I think you need that here in Sierra Leone so people are aware of what's available to you, right? So like when you land at the airport, especially regardless of what line you're going in, but if you're going in the foreign national line or if you're going in the foreigners line or in the Sierra Leone line, there should be a flyer that says, here are all the different things that you can do, right? And just boom, 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 boom here. You can go to the slave castle at Bunce Island. You can go to Banana Island. You can go to, the National Museum. You can go to the Takogama Chimpanzee Reserve, like all these different things. And I've done videos on all of these different things, but those things I think would really, really be helpful if it was all in one place. And so maybe that's something I should maybe help to work on, because my cousin does work for one department of the government, and Fode makes a good point to speak to the get in touch with the Freetown City Council, the mayor. So the mayor is very, very smart person. She's really cool. A lot of people really like her. I've only ever had like one meeting with her. Somebody else was running the meeting. I was just in it. But yeah, I would definitely, I'll take that up. That's a good idea. I think I do need to talk to her and see what we can do from a tourism perspective. I know that Idris Alba was here 2 years ago, 2019, and he was talking about trying to help with Banana Island and a few other things. But I think a lot of the stuff that goes on here is done through private business. And I think that has to be how it happens, just because from what I understand, the way government works here, they have so many other things they need to focus on. So they don't spend a lot of time, focusing on these things. So I think with the private businesses, I think they need to work in conjunction with the government for sure, so that people know about all these different things, like these different excursions that you can go on. Going hiking, right, to Sugarloaf, going to Mamba Falls, all these different things. These are all, they're all like privatized. And so I think that these things should all be like, the government checks them out, decides that they agree with them, government sanctioned, and then they put like, a list of events that you can do when you come here. And maybe that's something I will do. I'm going to take that up as a challenge. Maybe put together a list of events that you can do when you come here. That's something I think that I will do. Okay, cool. Well, guys, we're now at an hour and 16 minutes in. Any other questions, comments, concerns, stuff that you want to offer to the group? Those of you on Instagram Live, unfortunately, it was cut short. That sucks. Just the way it happened that way. But it is what it is. But it looks like 148 people overall joined the live at some point in time or another. So that's good. I think it's a record number for me. So that's good. But yeah, any questions, comments, concerns, anything you feel like I missed, let me know. Usually I field questions from Instagram as well, but the Instagram live is dead. It's gone completely. So yeah, any questions before we go? Sorry, I'm typing and talking at the same time, because I'm just notifying people what happened on the the Instagram live. Let me know if you guys have any more questions, any more comments, concerns, anything that you want me to address. You can ask me anything. I'm more than happy to answer any question for you. No? Is that it? I'll give it another 10 seconds to see if there's any more questions for anybody from anyone, if there's anything left. But I appreciate those of you who stayed on after I went out for a good minute and a half. So a bunch of people just actually stayed on the live, which I really appreciate. The screen went blank and you guys stayed on. So that just shows the devotion of the folks that are in this tribe, which I really appreciate. And by the way, I really love doing these lives. It gives me energy to do these lives, and it's been great to get to connect with you all, because in general, you put out videos and it's just a video, right? You can see comments, but it's not engaging with people in real time. What I love about this live, and I'm so glad that someone recommended I do lives every week, is that I really get a chance to engage with you all. I get to meet you all and see what you like, what you don't like, what I should make changes to, all those different things. I mean, that's really what's made this this process so great. So, even when, I can't get around to posting another video for that week, going live has always been good, because I get a lot of great engagement from you all, both on Instagram and on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm really grateful for this process and grateful for all of you. It's been great. Okay, Fode says, there's a lot of potential in Sierra Leone. The landscape and the beaches and the forestry and hillsides are beautiful. Yeah, it's very true. It's a very, very beautiful country. One of the most beautiful. I've been all around the world, as I mentioned before. And, obviously I have a little bit of bias because it's my country of origin. But I will say this is probably one of the most beautiful countries in the world once you get around some of the challenges of getting to the country, for sure, for sure, for sure. All right, was there anything that I needed to address that I didn't so far from last week? Or is there anything else you guys have for me? If not, I think we'll cut this a little short at an hour and 20. Usually this goes to about an hour and 30. Oh, a couple things I do want to mention. So in terms of content coming up, so as I mentioned, I'll be doing content with other people more often. I may be going live a second and potentially even a third time weekly. I've been talking to some of my other content creator friends, and we've been talking about potentially doing at least a diaspora discussion. So discussion about things that are happening in the news in the diaspora, whether it's pop culture or it's actual news-worthy information, things that are happening, legislation and politics, celebrity, whatever. Some of that stuff will be in there. Just anything news related that's happening in the diaspora, and also things that are happening on the continent. Our commentary, our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas for how to improve or fix certain things. All of that is likely to happen in the coming weeks. I'm still working out, the details of that. And then there's a podcast definitely on the way. It may be 2 months from now, maybe 3 months from now, but I will be putting all of this into podcast form. So these lives that we do, and then the discussions that we start doing, I definitely want to start doing a podcast. So if there's another format where you'd like to receive some of this information, I think a podcast is a good way to do it. The interviews that I'll be doing with people will be on those podcasts. The lives that I do, as interviews or lives with other people, will be on those podcasts. But I definitely want to start putting that out there and just offering this information on different mediums. I'm also planning to potentially switch over to a new streaming service. Right now, I'm using StreamYard. There's another streaming service that somebody recommended. Unfortunately, it doesn't include Instagram, which I think on the last live, they said that it does. It doesn't include Instagram, but it does include Twitch. And it has a lot of other features associated with it. I was playing around with it today, but I couldn't quite figure it out. I got to watch some YouTube videos for how to use it. But I plan to definitely, what was I going to say? I'm planning to definitely start utilizing that over the next few weeks because the plan that I'm on StreamYard, I've already used up 40 hours and I get 50 hours max, which is crazy. In the last 20 or so weeks doing these lives, I've used up 50 hours, which is almost 50 hours, which is crazy to think that I've spent that much time doing these lives, but it's because of you all. So anyway, I'll probably start streaming on Twitch as well. So I'll be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I want to stream across all those platforms, potentially also LinkedIn as well. If I can stream on LinkedIn, I think you have to have special permissions from LinkedIn to be able to do that. But if I can, I will start streaming there. But I want to stream on all platforms, as many platforms as I possibly can to get the message out to as many people as I can. So without further ado, it looks like, okay, there's one more question. Okay, nope, that was a bot. I'm getting bots on here, guys. So yeah, with that, I want to thank you guys all for watching. I really appreciate you guys all joining. It's been a great, I think it's been 10 months. The first time I put up a video was February 3rd, 2021. And we're now at January 3rd, 2022. So next month, on this day next month, will be exactly 1 year since I posted on this channel and started this channel. And I'm so grateful for you guys taking the journey. I think we're at 3,071 subscribers in that time frame, which I think is really impressive. And it's all thanks to you guys. You guys have really been pushing this out there and making sure that other people join. So I just want to express my gratitude and thank you guys all for doing that. And also, I want to just put the call out there. If you have any questions, if there's anything you'd like for me to address and to cover on any of my lives, I'm more than happy to. This is our collective effort, right? I want to make sure that we're giving value to those people who come here each and every week and who watch the videos whenever they do, because we want to make sure that people feel like they're getting something from this. So let me know if there's any particular content that you'd like to see from me. More than happy to start putting that content out there. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you all on the next video, and I will be live again in a week. So thanks, guys. See you all soon.